You know, my background was folk style wrestling, and I was one of the only girls on the team for that. So I think so many styles of wrestling in general are male dominated. So for me, it's something that's not new. It's just kind of bringing the battle here to another place. But here's a different level, because traditionally, you know, there's certain traditions in which it's male dominated, right? The men go to war, and wrestling is kind of war. And so I think here, part of the one thing that's different is that it's kind of rooted in culture, that it's, you know, directly related to Mongolian culture, that women don't wrestle, you know?
As she said, I'm Mongolian, so I mean, I'm not a wrestler before, and now I'm just like part-time wrestler just because I'm Mongolian, and you know, I want to know more about my culture. Why? Because I met Lavelle and Ariela, and they came all the way here to learn our culture, and I was like, oh my god, this is interesting. But before I was like, oh, wrestling is so boring, but as time goes by, I was like, wow, this is really interesting, and I have my favorite wrestlers now. And when it comes to like girls, and I was like, good, I have one company and we can both do it. And you know, once I start to do it, girls always write me, it's like, oh, you're the role model for us, like please keep doing it. And it also encourages me to keep doing it, even I'm not the best or good wrestler, but you know, it's one way to just deliver my culture to another people, and also encouraging the women all over the world to tell them that, okay, you can do it, even you're a girl.
I started wrestling when I was 14, and you know, since then I've seen more and more women kind of get drawn into wrestling in general. And then for me coming to Inner Mongolia, people always, oh, why did you come to Inner Mongolia? Did you follow Hangai? And I said, no, I'm the one who said we should move here. I'm the one who brought his ass. So actually, you know, it's my dream. It's my dream to wrestle. It's my dream to, you know, both for Chinese wrestling and Mongolian wrestling. That's why I'm here. You know, the whole point is to become the best wrestler that I can be, and also to inspire women along the way. That's hugely important to me. And I think, you know, Oyuntana is one of them. She met me in Lavelle, and she's like, wrestling's pretty dope. It's part of my culture. And then she's like, if this little one can do it, I can sure as hell do it. Exactly. So, you know, so I think, and then, you know, women do look up to both of us, I think. We have women all the time writing us on social media saying, you guys are so beautiful, but you're also badass. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that I could be both, or I thought that wrestling was only for boys. So I think for me, it's kind of part of my calling is to, one, because I love wrestling, but also, you know, you can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be, you know, a 300-pound woman with a mustache to be a wrestler. Yeah. You can also be little and cute and, you know, whatever. You could be whatever. Cute. You could be anything. And you could still be a wrestler. You could still love it. And I think slowly we're making waves. And more women are becoming more interested.
dream-wise, my dream is not to become a wrestler. My dream is just to spread our art to the world. And, you know, part of our mission is like, okay, as a woman, you can play this role. Like, you can tell people that the world that, okay, you can do this, and you want to do it for for yourself and for other people. So just be just like a role model. It's a sample kind of things, you know. Especially as a Mongolian, if you wanted to convince people to know about your art, respect you, or study your thing, you have to know about it. So last 3 years I've been just dedicate myself into Mongolian traditional lifestyles, or even countryside life, because I grew up in the city. I don't know much, but in 3 years, yeah, I've learned a lot, but you know, I have still a long way to go.
So when we first got here, there was some difficulty with our training. And so when I first got here, I didn't wrestle for like the whole first year I was here. That's kind of why Lavelle got into the Mongolian wrestling, because our way into Chinese wrestling was blocked a little bit. It's a long story, we don't need to get into it. So, you know, when I first moved here, I was like, what? I came all the way here and I can't even wrestle. And it was really hard. And in that summer, that's when Lavelle really started getting into Mongolian wrestling. And unfortunately for women, there's not that many opportunities to compete for Mongolian wrestling, because obviously it's traditionally men, it's dominated by men. There's only occasional nadams which allow for women. So the whole first year I was here, no wrestling. And it sucked. It was the worst. But through Huha and through this kind of, you know, connection we made with Mongolian wrestling, that's how I got linked up in Hohat to train with my teacher Bökh, which is Huha's teacher, and that's how we made that connection. So now, you know, I'm a teacher, a full-time teacher, which is not too much, to be honest. I have a pretty dope schedule, but I'm a full-time teacher at Inner Mongolia University. That's how I have a visa to be here. And so I'm a full-time teacher, but I also, on the days and the times I don't teach, I go to training. So I train Shuai Jiao with the Hohat professional team, and it's a professional team in which a lot of the players are very skilled and a little bit bigger than, well, much bigger than me. And it's also connected to like a youth team, like a youth school. So I have the bigger people who are monsters and much larger than me physically, who I get to, you know, play with and work on a lot of the skill. And then there's also the kids who aren't as skilled, but they're more my size. So I get to wrestle like 15-year-old boys and try to whoop their ass, and they try to whoop my ass. And it's actually the most amazing experience, because I get to hang out with young Mongolian kids, you know, and there's also some girls there too, who I really connect with, and we kind of inspire each other. And so I get to train with these young kids who are more my size, and then the older people who are, you know, big and skilled, and some of them are national champions, some of them are all kinds of stuff. So it's an amazing experience. And Bökh is very well known in Inner Mongolia. He just had 2 champions, so I mean, it gives you an idea of how prestigious that kind of school is, and that lineage, I guess you would say. So I feel very blessed. And even I met with Bökh the other day. He invited me to eat with him and some of his buddies while they were drinking. And he was saying, you know, you and Hangai, you guys come here and you train and you guys love wrestling, and I love that. And, you know, he was saying, you know, Lavelle's such a great wrestler and Ariunna's such a good wrestler, and you guys don't care about anything, you just love wrestling. And he was telling his friends, she's a teacher at NADA, but she comes and she wrestles every day. And I was like, yeah, I do. So it's an amazing experience. I have such a beautiful opportunity here, and I try to take advantage of it as much as I can. And I've really connected with my teammates, the young women that I train with, and, you know, the young boys too. You know, they've become my family, and it's a really amazing place. When every time I walk in, you can't help but have the biggest smile on your face, because you're about to go to war with some kids. And it's amazing. It's the best experience ever. And I get women to train with, everybody. So I'm really blessed, and I'm taking advantage of every opportunity. And my skill is getting a lot better, actually. Lavelle hadn't seen me wrestle for a while, and then he saw me wrestle, and he's like, yeah, you learned some stuff. I was like, yeah, I did. So I feel good. I feel great. I feel really happy, and I'm doing exactly what I came here for. So it was a long time coming, but now it's worth it. I'm about to bring it to another level. So